Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Richard Koritz. I'm proud to be the co-host of You Gotta Laugh to Keep From Crying with my old friend and brother, an excellent man of all kind, in every kind of way.
Back together again, brother.
Yeah, and his name is O.W. Sweeney.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And we want to give a shout out to our sponsor,
The North Carolina
Triad Jobs
with
Justice.
Where you can reach us at
336-272-2758. It's hot today.
Yeah, it's hot today.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
Because up there in Washington, all them fine.
Don't even go there.
I'm gonna go there. I mean, they lie. Well, I can't tell a lie every now and then about how great they are.
Yeah.
And they passing stuff around.
Yeah. Like with
They're so wishy-washy with it. And I want to give a great shout out to our senator, who I have not voted for one time.
Ever. That's right. And the same with me.
But this time he jumped on my toes and told me he's standing up for the North Carolinians because he believed this big, beautiful bill
is an
ain't got no
abomination.
beauty in it whatsoever.
Right. Right.
And he voted against it.
Right.
And I have to give him a little shout out for that.
Right, and he spelled it out. I mean, I'm with you all the way, O.W. Tillis spelled it out. I mean, he didn't just hide and do it quietly. He actually declared it from right in front
under
of
the thread,
and he declared it out loud, and he declared just how much suffering the people of North Carolina, specifically, would experience if this bill passes, and specifically the people in rural areas where key rural hospitals
mostly vote for Republicans now.
That's right, and he recognized it, and he was about the only one that was moved. There were two others who voted against, two other Republicans, Senator Rand Paul and Senator Collins of Maine.
Yeah.
She voted against it as well. But Tillis, who's been such a reactionary Republican,
and a loyalist to Trump, I may add.
Exactly, a loyalist to Trump, he made the gutsy decision to.
You say gutsy, I say he made the right decision.
Okay, that's fine. To stand against Trump, very specifically, on this bill.
Against Trump, but stand up for his constituents in North Carolina.
Absolutely.
The ones who voted for him.
Right, exactly. So he provides a model, because this bill is still up for grabs. Yeah. He provided a model for other Congress people in both houses of the Congress, who are Republicans, to take a stand with their constituents. Because this bill is the most reactionary Robin Hood in reverse bill that's probably ever been for a budget bill in the history of the United States. Taking from the poor, taking from the working class people and even middle class people, and giving it all to the billionaires. And so today we want to discuss with you, our viewers, some of the wrinkles that deal with this, other than the emphasis, since you mentioned Senator Tillis first, other than his focus on how much the people are going to suffer with the cuts in all kinds of medical care and health care at the hands of this bill.
I just want to throw in a little piece about Lisa Murkowski, the senator from Arkansas. I heard today that
she's from Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska. I said Arkansas. Excuse me,
right.
People. From Alaska, they threw her a bone in this bill, and she voted for it.
And now you bring
hold on, now, let me finish.
Okay, I didn't realize.
Now they threw her a bone.
Right.
She voted for it. Now she's trying to encourage
Congress people
not to vote for the bill she voted for. Why didn't she stand up and vote against it herself? Because it ain't changed no much because she got that little bone in there. See, that's why this so-called democratic society we live in is really undemocratic. Because if she felt the bill is so bad, why she vote for it? And now she's trying to encourage others not to vote for it when she could have killed it herself.
Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the Benjamins. That's the basic answer is whether it's short-run Benjamins, bribes, open bribes,
any way you want to put it.
Long-term job security with these highly privileged and bankrolled positions.
Board positions.
But yeah, that exactly.
Yeah.
So one thing I liked about today's News and Record, the front page, for a change, had these two headlines. I'll take them one at a time. First, the first and bigger one is budget bill limps to Senate passage, and when you think about the fact that Trump, the snake oil salesman par excellence, had dubbed his own bill the big beautiful bill, and I love the fact that now, just in fairly neutral reporting by the News and Record, they're telling the truth. And when they say the budget bill limps to Senate passage, that means that they had to have Vice President J.D. Vance there to break a 50-50 tie.
Yeah.
So here, and the Senate has a majority of Republicans.
That's right.
And yet, that majority of Republicans did not vote for that what Musk correctly called the abomination of a bill. And as many as could afford to vote for it did, and they still couldn't get enough. They had to have J.D. Vance there.
Which makes Lisa Murkowski's statement make her sound so much bought up and paid for.
Yeah, true. That is true. So, that's one thing. But I'd like our viewers who are either MAGA supporters or Trump supporters or whatever their political support, who bought at all into what Trump, the massive liar, and as you said, I think on one of our recent shows and have said before, the truth that Trump is lying when he's moving his lips.
Yeah.
So, but the idea that this was a big, beautiful bill, and
from his position, it is. How much money he's standing to get out of this?
Yeah, and from the basic billionaire point of view, just about. Yeah. It's a beautiful bill for them.
Hey, they get a big, massive tax cut.
That's what it's all about.
That tax cut they're getting is probably more money than probably 500,000 people here in North Carolina would make in a year.
Right, that's right. But the budget bill, there's a number of factors that make it actually even worse than what we generally have been able to say on this show. So one of them, our old friend, I'll speak for Sandra and myself, Congresswoman Alma Adams, who originally was a congresswoman from Greensboro, but they were trying to get rid of her because she said too many things. She fought for too many things that were in the interest of the people, and but she just came out yesterday with a new press release with the title "SNAP Budget Cuts Could Force States to Withdraw from SNAP Entirely." And Congresswoman Adams, I like to call her Alma, but in our show I'll call her Congresswoman Adams, along with 33 other House members, signed a letter to the Speaker and to the Minority Leader, both, to strike the SNAP-related provisions from the abomination of a bill, including the unprecedented cost shift provision, which would force states to cover portions of the SNAP benefits costs, the first time ever in the program's 50-year history. And what Congresswoman Adams and the other 33 signers of this letter pointed out is that based on the language of the underlying Food and Nutrition Act of 2008, combined with the proposed changes in H.R. 1, some states may be unable to meet the newly introduced state cost-sharing requirements. I mean, sharing the costs with the federal government. But with the federal government smashing SNAP, that would put this extra big strain on the states. And then they point out, I'm still quoting the congresspeople, including Congresswoman Alma Adams, this raises the alarming possibility that certain states may be forced to withdraw from SNAP entirely. And SNAP is literally taking the food out of the mouths of children, right? So that's what's at stake. But I wanted to.
I want to dig a little deeper into that point so people understand.
Yeah.
By them taking money or killing that SNAP program, what it does is those people who can go get that SNAP and get food and stuff like that, they get nothing. So what do? They turn to stealing and robbing. So they're actually increasing crime by taking those people off this program. And a lot of people don't understand that's what happened. I mean, a lot of people out there ain't going to see their children go hungry.
Right.
And they're going to do what's necessary to feed their children. Not only are you taking millions upon billions or trillions of dollars out of their pocket and away from them and forcing them to pay more taxes to fund those billionaires.
Right, the billionaire tax cuts.
But you're taking food out your own people's mouth. And you have to understand this is what Trump was all about. And you can't say he didn't tell you he was going to do this here. It's just that you wasn't listening. You thought what he was saying, and would you call it a snake oil salesman?
That's what I call him, yeah.
That he going to do something good for you. He ain't doing nothing good for you.
No.
He's actually robbing the poor to feed his pockets.
That's the reverse Robin Hood for you.
Reverse Robin Hood.
Right, exactly.
So you have to understand how these little things, when they say SNAP, well, that doesn't affect me, but it trickles down that way. That where you on the bottom, they don't go to the rich folks' neighborhood where they got something to rob. They come to your house where you ain't got nothing and rob you.
But basically, the biggest robbery is the billionaires, with Trump in the lead, robbing almost all the rest of us, and through this taxation without representation, which is what it is.
Basically.
Yeah.
Because those Republicans are so scared of Trump, he threatened to primary them. The people are so, some of them are so ignorant. I have to put that. Some of them are so ignorant, they'd rather vote for Trump than to understand that they representatives they sent up there to represent him are scared of Trump because Trump will tell them not to vote for him because he represented you against what my wishes.
That gets me to the other headline on the front page. Activists hope Tillis's actions encourage others. And you and I are both encouraged by the fact that Tillis took the stand. And that was in line.
A long supporter of Trump.
A long and vicious supporter of Trump in the past, and yet this was too far for him to go.
Yeah.
Because especially with his rural base within North Carolina, that he could see that the people were going to lose. I mean, not just because they were going to lose rural hospitals, but even the economy in those areas would leave them with ghost towns in a lot of cases.
Mind you, some say this is the richest nation on the land, on the planet.
On the planet, yeah. But it's also worth noting that Tillis himself was the beneficiary of medical care when he had his routine, what do you call it?
Surgery.
No, the routine examination that revealed that he had what an awful lot of men have, and it saved his life.
Yeah.
So I think, some people are not as monstrous. They still have some humanity.
When it hit home, it hit home.
Especially when it hit home. And he grew up poor, which was also a factor with him, I think, at the same time. So, but the idea that you raise, and raise it often, that people who have been elected are supposed to represent their constituents, it doesn't happen very often. But here's a time where Tillis is doing it. And the cowardly Democrats are generally afraid when a Republican finally does something right. They're generally afraid to say what you said to me, I think it was before the show, about the possibility of finally voting for Tillis if he ever ran again, because this is such an important issue.
That's right.
This is a catastrophic bill, the like of which has never been seen in this country before. And another thing, OW, is that all of these, there's several shows and TV news shows, networks, MSNBC and CNN are the ones that come to mind. Then you get a little bit of old NPR and the radio, National Public Radio and all. And they're supposedly more, and they are almost reflexively pro-Democratic Party, which doesn't help the people to just be automatically with the Democrats against the Republicans. It just doesn't work out for the people.
Yeah, because I think the Democrats should have offered an alternative to this bill.
Okay.
Even if they made it nowhere, if it went nowhere, instead of talking about this is a bad bill, they should have offered an alternative. That's when the Republicans, the same thing the Republicans do when the Democrats go to the bill. They don't offer an alternative. They just say the bill is bad.
Yeah, like you remind me of Trump with health care. He kept trashing what he called Obamacare, which I call Romney care, because the former Massachusetts governor, who was a Republican, it was under him that the first Obamacare came about. It was a Republican-led, Romney-led idea, and then when it was in the hands of Obama, and
even he was against it, and even Romney was against it.
And but fortunately, McCain was the one that actually cast the final vote that blocked it from being knocked out. But now we're looking at,
and Trump hated him for it.
Right now, and last night we caught on CNN Caitlin Collins interviewing a black congressman from New York, a black Latino congressman from New York, who I'm not that fond of usually, named Richie Torres, and a white supremacist from Tennessee. I don't remember. I wish I remembered his name. I never heard of him before, but he's an education in himself. He's so damn rotten, that guy. And when Caitlin Collins answered his stuff, which she did, which is unusual with these people, he basically said, the congressman from Tennessee basically said, that the Congressional Budget Office is not what it actually is, which is Republican and Democratic together, led by a Republican at this point, and all. And which she made all these points about it. But he was saying it's wildly radical, and it's not, it's not telling the truth. This is the Congressional Budget Office that the Congress has to give them the straight scoop on what's going on. So it was an education in itself, because this guy, he didn't have any answers for anything. It was just all attack and no answers for why he was still supporting the bill. But and Torres
supporting
was actually
the bill, but not representing his constituents.
Absolutely betraying his constituents.
That's right.
Exactly. So, but I did want to get out the point about the impact on the state funding of Trump and his the leaders of the Republican Party and Congress who were trying to shepherd this bill through with special provisions for people like Senator Lisa Murkowski to try to help her in order to get her vote and all. And
because she ain't had the kahunas to stand up.
Right.
Like Tillis did.
Right. That's right. So
and when she should have had the kahunas to stand up like Tillis did, everything would have been all right. But now she's trying to encourage people not to vote for
in the House.
She voted for.
Yeah. So that she didn't have to take the heat. But it does show you. I mean, and in fact, let's get back to Tillis for a minute. Within the 12 hours afterwards, I'm not sure exactly how many, but about half a day after Tillis took that decent stand. I mean, he was
right
really
stand.
The correct stand.
Right for the constituents.
Right, exactly.
In other words, he voted for me.
Yeah, he voted for we.
Okay.
And so, but within half a day, Tillis announced he was not running for re-election, and it was after Trump had already threatened him.
Yeah.
Not only, I mean, the threats from Trump are not just around the elections. They're the fascist threats of
a dictator.
Of a dictator. That's right, and that's involved with every one of these things, and but the bill is limping back to the House now, as you know, after the day after as the News and Record said. Budget bill limps to Senate passage.
Yeah,
now it goes back to the House, and there's a huge difference, and it's not clear that the bill will end up being passed at all, and that would be a great political defeat, because you may remember that during our shows,
political defeat
for Trump. Let me finish my point.
No, I want to cut that right there. A great win for the constituents and the people of the United States of America.
Those are two sides of the same coin.
No, I'm looking from the positive.
Good.
Where I want look out for the people of the United States of America, and Trump can go to HEL.
Well, your spelling isn't that good, but your point. Your point. I know your point is a good one. Anyway, so now that you got that in there, where was I about this? He
was talking about how the going to be bad, will be a bad decision, a bad defeat for Trump in his ideological.
Because when we've been doing this show together a long time.
Yeah.
So you may remember that my point about why Trump was kept in office by Wall Street in his first term was one main thing, and that was that he delivered on one promise, and it was a promise to the billionaires back then, and that was the tax cut. That it was the tax cut. That was a specific thing that kept him in that why the Wall Street people. And that's why he got
back in there. But the poor slobs out there, who's going to be affected most by it, didn't understand the bill was not for them from the beginning.
Yeah, not just the bill, but the candidate.
Yeah.
Trump. So, but what I'm getting out, trying to get out of W is that the other main manipulation around the bill. First of all, none of the Democratic Party connected news channels had more than maybe one person for 5 minutes at a time explaining, which is all it took, 5 minutes of them enumerating what this was going to cost we the people to pass this rotten bill. And like I mentioned, the Congressional Budget Office actually exposes this. It's going to add several $1 trillion, at least $3 trillion, maybe $5 trillion to the national debt. And it'll mean that
$31 trillion, that ain't no money.
And it'll mean that not only will inflation be with us, but also the fact that the people will not be able to expand their investments into anything else, because it's the inflation will be impacting so much because of the debt, the increased debt.
I understand. A lot of people say to me, everything's going up. And I have to correct them.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is not going up because people's salaries are not going up.
Right. True.
But they're going down.
And they'll go down even more as Doge and all of this, this growing unemployment and the tariffs. And I do like, and this is kind of maybe a last point, that with all Trump's bullying of everyone, that's an underling, he's attempted to, he's threatened that he would get rid of Powell, the chair of the Fed, right? But
Who set interest rates?
Right, the Fed sets the interest rates, and they basically, if he tried to get rid of Powell, actually removed him, it would lead to a global
Recession.
economic catastrophe, because then basically the last guardrail that has anything to do with the U.S. economy would be gone. And Powell finally struck back this in the last day or so when he pointed out he's allowed Trump, because Powell is supposedly independent politically. Trump has been smashing away at him and smashing away at him.
And he finally come back.
And he finally came back on Trump and pointed out in a quiet way that it's actually because of Trump's tariffs that they're not able to
lower the interest rates.
To lower the interest rates. Which
is terrible in this pact, but
in our unity lies our strength.